and a very happy new year to you all. Welcome if you're new to the channel. My name's Nigel, and if you're a regular, welcome back. Well, we're into 2022 already. I hope you enjoyed the festive break, whatever you got up to. For me, it was nothing special. In fact, it was very quiet. Apart from popping on the allotment here to harvest veg for our Christmas lunch, I've been doing nothing garden related. Watched a few YouTube videos and also thumbed through a few seed catalogues and ordered a few seeds that I was missing. Come January the 1st, which was yesterday, I made my first assault on the new season by going into the greenhouse in the garden and starting to clean the Vitopods propagators ready for this year's growing season. I'll just show you what I've been up to. I must say it was an enjoyable couple of hours cleaning these with the weather being so mild, able to get outside. I used some warm soapy water, some mild disinfectant, and I must say they've come up quite new, very pleased with it. Inside there is some capillary matting, which I always put on the bottom. I did take the stuff which was already in there out, give it a brush down. My wife's popped it through the washing machine, and it's actually come out quite good, so I'll probably reuse that again and save that for maybe another year. Anyway, these are all ready for action. I have got a single Vitopod in the house, and I'll be using that to start the seedlings off. And once they emerge a bit bigger, they'll be popping into here. I'll be setting up the grow tent as usual and putting the lights on just to give them that bit extra boost of daylight. Anyway, that's the state of play in my greenhouse. One other thing I'd like to share with you before you leave the greenhouse is these things. I've invested in some smart plugs. The way these work, they plug into your power source and then they actually receive your device. In this case, it's the Vitopod propagators, and also there'll be the grow lights on there. The way it works, you get an app on your phone or iPad, whichever device you use, and with that you can control those by setting schedules, switch on and off multiple times a day if you want it, and also you can do it manually by clicking a button. It'll turn it off directly, but you do need an internet connection on your phone to make sure that you've got a connection to that. Also, these need to be linked to your router or whatever, but that works fine for me. You can also set them up with smart devices in your house. So if you've got something like the Amazon Alexa and the Google one, you can link them up and say, like, Alexa, turn on Vitopod 1, and it'll actually switch it on and stuff like that. But anyway, that's what those are for, the smart plugs. So these are the Vitopods. If you haven't seen these before, I've actually done a video, I think it was last year, with a detailed build of how I set them up, how the thermostats work and that. And they're not cheap, they're quite expensive, but they are well built. And the other thing is the modular, so these trays will actually fit on the top. But if you want to take a look at that, I'll put a link up the top corner and also in the show notes. Okay, let's crack on. For those of you not familiar with this is known as a Belfast sink. You don't usually see them much now, except maybe in farmhouses and stuff like that, rustic builds. This is an old bird bath what I've got stored in there at the moment. Originally I was going to use the sink over on the allotment as a little wildlife pond, but I've had a change of plan. In fact, I'm going to leave it tucked in this corner now. It's this corner of my conservatory. It's really nothing in there. And what I plan to do is put some plants in there which will suit me through the late winter, early spring, and give us a bit of colour. So I'm going to be planting that up in a moment. Alongside here I've got some plants stored. That's a fish-bound Cotoneaster. If you've never seen one, the bees absolutely love them. And there are a few cuttings that I took of Verbena bonariensis. That's the other thing, but them are for later planting. For all you gardeners in the UK, you're more than not be familiar with the programme Gardener's World. Now, many years ago, it had a presenter on there, what I consider probably one of the last true gardeners, not a gardening celebrity come personality presenter, but Jeff Hamilton. He had a lovely home in Barnsdale, which is just in Rutland, and in there he created a series of gardens. He got this technique of creating stuff using a thing called hypertufa, which is making artificial rocks. It could create some huge monsters. You'd think you'd need lifting with a forklift and you could pick them up with your hand. And this comprised of peat with cement and other things. And what he did, he daubed it on wire mesh, chicken wire skeletons, and he created like that. But he also used it on similar materials to what that Belfast sink is. You need to scuff it up, make it a bit rough, then daub it on with your hands. And once it's dried, it does actually create a rustic feature. But the other thing he did, he actually used a live yogurt, painted that on, and that encouraged moss to grow, which made it look more even realistic. I'm not going to be doing that with that sink today, but it's probably something I will do in the future. The reason I say that, I'm in a rush to get it planted. I do have some plants that need to be in the soil. Should have been probably a month or two ago. I'm really pushing my luck here, but anyway, let's crack on. We've still got the plug hole in here, which will keep the drainage fairly good, but just to try and stop it completely blocking the soil, I'll just top it up with a bit of horticultural grit. The compost that I'm using is spent potato compost, and I'll be adding extra horticultural grit. Might pop a handful of bloodfish and bone in as well, but all in all I think that should see it okay. I'm just being treated to a little rain shower now, so I might have to pop you back a bit later. That was quite a prolonged heavy shower, but I managed to get the soil in. So I'll just show you now what I propose to plant into there. The first thing to get planted is a good reliable favourite. It's a miniature daffodil Narcissus called tete-a-tete. These grow only about 6 inches high and plant them about 4 inches apart. But I need to get them in the ground really soon because these will be flowering come March, April. Could have been doing with being in a month or so ago, but let's get them in now. Nothing formal with the way these are going to be planted. Just scatter them around. Some of these, well, most of them have got the shoots coming out already, but that's not to bother. So these like to be about 4 inches deep. So just pop them in here and there. They're all in. One thing I forgot to do, but I'd recommend that you do it, is actually check the bulbs, make sure they're not soft, give them the squidgy test. As it happens, planted these, I didn't feel any that was out of order, so they've all gone in. Some more plants that I've purchased to go in there are these. These are called Cyclamen Coum. I've got a pink variety and a white, and I've got 2 of each. The Cyclamen Coum are the hardy variety of cyclamen. You do see quite a lot of cyclamen in the garden centre, and more or less them usually what they call the heterophilia, and they've got a slightly different shaped leaf. In fact, I think I've got some over there, one of them. Yep. If you look at the difference in the leaf shape of those, these say these are bred mainly for a cool greenhouse or something, but given the right acclimatisation, you can actually get these to grow outdoors. Cold is not a problem, it's wet soil. You need really good drainage. If you've got prolonged rain coming, I should put a little shelter over the top, but still let the air flow. Anyway, let's go and get these planted. I've had to mix some more soil up and gravel just to top the sink up. Then I've put the cyclamen on the top there where I'm going to plant them. The light levels are dropping quite low now, although it might not show it on the camera. This is a cyclamen in place. Because the compost's nice and light now, I need to dig these in. I can just scoop a little hole and pop them down. If you got something like leaf mould or something, ideal sort of stuff for these, they'd absolutely love it. These will quite happily acclimatise and hybridise with the daffodils, and give it another year or two. I'm sure it'll look a pretty sight. There's just another couple of plants I've got to finish it off, and these are two Saxifragas, the hypanoides. Just pop these in the corner and this will be a nice little thing to creep over the edges and soften it. And we've got the final Saxifraga to go into this corner. Thinking about it, this is going to be a riot of colour hopefully in the spring, but a bit bland in the summer. So I may have a look at the Cyclamen hydrophalium and dot them in between these gaps, and the daffodils actually pop the way up between them. So I'll just have a look at those now. This hydrophalium here is labelled as multicoloured, and it does look as though there's 2 or 3 plants in here, so I'll just bob this into this little space here. So these will die down at different times of the year. So hopefully give us some nice colour. See if we can find another one. Just got one more. This is quite a big plant. This is. So see if we can drop him in there a bit wider. There he goes. Still some flowers showing there. And the very last job is to tidy it up, top it off with the final top dressing of the horticultural grit. And so this will really set it off and keep the weeds down also. So I'll just finish this off and I'll bring you back when we're done. So there we have it, all done and dusted. I'm very happy with the way that's turned out. And well, that was a different way to start the year off other than walking around the allotment. And I must say I really enjoyed it. Come the spring, hopefully that will give us a riot of colour to have a look at. Now I was doing a plan to put a video up overlooking the 2021 season. That's took a bit longer than I thought it would, so it probably won't be uploaded now. In the meantime, I'm going to concentrate on my January seed sowings, of which you'll see in the next one. So many thanks for watching. Stay safe all of you. See ya next time. Bye now.